Hello everyone, welcome back to Bushtracker Live, which is our daily dose of all things I'm a Celeb. My name's Vicky Newman, I'm one of the senior celebrity reporters for Mirror Online, and I'm joined by Mark Jeffries, showbiz editor. How are you doing, Mark?
You're very well, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. So everyone watching, if you fancy joining in, hit the comments, let me know who's your favourite, who you want to win, and what you think so far. Any questions you've got, let me know, and we'll do our best to answer them, won't we? So let's talk about last night. Obviously, it's starting to get really towards the end, and there was a shock double elimination last night. There was Beverly and Victoria went in one go. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't that surprised. I suppose for me, of the two, Beverly might be the one that was surprising. Victoria has done quite well in there, but she didn't have a natural fan base going in. It's not like she was on a hit show or anything like that. So it's hard, I think, for people like journalists to ever get to the final stages. I thought Bev started off really well initially and was really funny as well. I really enjoyed her being in there. But obviously she was exempt from a few trials, and then she sort of faded away a little bit. And I guess she's paid the price for that, really. So a little bit of a surprise with her, but generally not massive surprise for either of them. What did you think, Vic?
I was really surprised by Beverly, like you say, same. But again, I totally agree with what you're saying. She at the start, she was great. She was really funny. She seemed really sweet and lovely. She was taking all the guys under her wing and being quite like motherly, wasn't she? And it came across really well. But yeah, she's kind of faded off a bit. Mitch is asking if there's a double elimination again tonight. Do we know this?
We do, yeah, we do know there's this. I'm 99% certain it's just one person going tonight, but Mitch probably has done the numbers, and if you look how many people are in there, there's too many for a normal final. So I think either they're going to have to extend the final, or we might see another double elimination later in the week. I personally wouldn't be that surprised if we get one maybe tomorrow or Thursday, because otherwise it's just going to be too many people on that last final day to sort of show their stories. But it's just, as far as I know, it's just one person leaving tonight.
Yeah, just a funny story for you. You might enjoy with you saying about journalists obviously not having as big of a fan base with Victoria. One of my godsons did say that he can't understand that if they wanted a journalist called Victoria, why they didn't ask me, because he says he's never heard of her, but he knows who I am.
It's a good question. We can start the campaign right now. You can go to Australia.
Honestly, I'd be terrible. I don't know. I don't think it's worth the flight. So last night as well, Carol saying she's torn between Vernon, Shane and Mo for the win. It is quite close, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But it's funny because the two people she hasn't mentioned there, Jordan and Giovanna, they're at the top of the betting at the moment. So I think Carol might be disappointed in terms of where, who we end up with, the king or queen of the jungle. But I think Vernon, of the three she's mentioned there, has had a strong last sort of 48 hours. I think he's coming into his own. And it's interesting. I put on social media last night, our friends at Ladbrokes announced that Giovanna was the new favourite. And the reaction to that was quite mixed. Some people were very happy and there were people furious, particularly fans of people like Shane saying she's not done anything in there. She's not done enough in there to be queen of the jungle. But I think sometimes you just have to be, a nice person in there and not necessarily be the loudest voice at the start. We see Jordan had a great start and he's really faded as well now. So I think, it's quite up for grabs. Who are you sort of picking at the moment for your winner?
I think sometimes we do see surprise winners. Like you say, it's not always necessarily the loudest person, the most talkative, the funniest. Like sometimes it is a bit of a kind of an outsider who you didn't see coming, who sort of like sneaks in, don't they, round the back, if you will, and kind of steals it at the end. I've said before, I am financially invested in Giovanna winning because I've put a little bet on her. But I'm kind of swaying to Shane. I feel like Shane's going to win, but that is maybe just because, he's getting a lot of airtime and everything. So I don't know if I think he'll win for the right reasons or if it's just because we're seeing him so much. Do you know what I mean?
I think in terms of who it would mean the most to, Shane, it probably is Shane or Jordan. Giovanna's very successful in her own right already. I think if she wanted to do TV as well as her podcasts and books, those doors will already be open, or I'm sure they will be. Jordan obviously is a radio DJ, but were he to win, perhaps, you know, we could see him on shows like, I can just imagine him being on Celeb Juice and things like that. And
yeah,
Shane,
like he's really like taken off. Obviously, he was already a name that we knew, but he's everywhere now, isn't he?
And for Shane, he's had a TV career. I mean, he was a big name back in the 90s, and he does theatre and stuff now. He still has a career, but nothing like the size of what it used to be. And were he to be king of the castle, then, you know, some opportunities I'm sure would come his way, and we might see him back on TV a lot more next year. So I think, yeah, in terms of what it could mean to people, Jordan or Shane probably would benefit the most.
Yeah, no, definitely. But then necessarily that's not why somebody should win. Do you know what I mean? It's not what it's all about, and it's the entertainment value. And I think Shane probably has been the most entertaining, obviously at times a little bit vulgar, but who doesn't love a pull my finger joke? Like, we're all laughing at it, do you know what I mean? Be honest. It made you laugh, didn't it?
I think you're right. You shouldn't just win for just being. I agree that you shouldn't just win for being nice. I think Giovanna has been more than that. Lots of people coming out now, Ruthie, and I think Victoria Bev also said she's sort of the mum of the camp, and everyone goes to her, you know, with their problems or for a chat and a cuddle. And so I think maybe she's doing more in there that we're more than we're actually seeing out here. And I think they've all contributed in their own way now. I think Jordan at the start did quite a lot, and, you know, particularly the first 2 or 3 days, it was all Jordan. You know, people were saying he'd won already. So I think they're all contributing in their own ways. You know, Mo, I've been a little bit disappointed in. He's such a huge star, you know, a global star when it comes to winning those gold medals. But we have seen a little bit of his personality, but, you know, not huge amounts. He's not done quite as much as I would have liked. You know, I was hoping maybe he would have done, you know, half a dozen trials and win all of them and be running around in there, but it's not really been that kind of show for him. We've seen a little bit of his sort of cheeky personality, which is nice, but it doesn't seem like I don't think he can win from here.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's been kind of in stages, hasn't it? Where it was very much the Jordan show at the start, like you say, and it's kind of changed, and there's been sort of one person has seemed to be the main focus at all times. But yeah, Mitch is getting involved again, and he wants to know who we think might go tonight. Who do you reckon? Obviously, it's been all women so far. No,
yeah,
in the camp now.
I think, well, there's only. I think if you're talking about who's going to go tonight in terms of female, there's only really Jess who would go. I don't think there's any chance of Giovanna going personally, but maybe Russell. He was named last night, wasn't he, in the sort of it could be you bit, which you always think maybe did he get less votes? So maybe Russell or AJ, I think might be time for them to go. I don't think either of them have. I think if you asked them that or showed them the episodes, they'd probably be a little bit disappointed that they haven't been more involved. They both talked the talk before they went in and were saying how much they were going to do and how big sort of presence they were going to be in there. And I think both of them haven't really quite done it for me. Russell's done a lot of singing, but other than that, I've been a bit disappointed in him.
Yeah, I agree. I think either Russell, AJ, or Jess, I think, could be in trouble, because I feel like with her as well, we haven't really seen much of her. She's kind of faded into the background a little bit. But obviously, Russell last night, so he's been moaning a bit about not having a trial, and obviously the one that Victoria did the other night was the world's friendliest wolf. Russell had wanted to do that, but he ended up getting the trial last night, and he just moaned about it all the way through.
Yeah, it was a funny one, wasn't it? It was the rancid rotisserie, and he just seemed, as you say, moaning away at the start. I think it was quite a tricky one if your general knowledge wasn't great, but he, like you say, he made such a fuss to be there, and he did sort of celebrate when he got the questions right, but he was moaning and groaning a bit. I think that was it. That's his sort of dry sense of humour from speaking to him previously. But yeah, he wasn't full of joy, and also I find it strange that I think he ended up getting 5 out of 10, didn't he? So he didn't do very well, really, but he was very much at the end, I'm pretty pleased with that, and sort of went back in singing. And I sort of thought, you ain't got a lot to sing about, mate. You just got 5 out of 10. That's not very good at all.
Yeah, and he dragged it out, didn't he? He didn't go in there and just go, right, like, I got 5, and then explain what happened. There was a whole story to go with it before the big reveal.
As Shane said in the in the Telegraph. It was almost like a mini musical. You know, imagine that was an edited version. They probably got a 20-minute story about him getting 5 stars, I think.
Yeah, definitely. But obviously, the other big thing that's causing drama in the camp at the minute is the phantom dribbler. Who do you think it is? The prime suspects are Jordan and Shane, aren't they? But they both blame the other one and both deny that it's them. So who do you think's responsible?
Well, I feel like it's got to be Shane now, only because his son Shane Jr. was on Instagram last night, and he was saying 1,000,000% is my dad. I've lived with him. I know what he's like. So if his own son is saying it's him, I sort of feel like it probably is Shane. Although, you know, from the evidence we've seen, it's quite mixed, isn't it? Like, you know, sometimes Jordan doesn't seem the brightest of people, and he sort of drops himself in it a bit by going and mopping it up. So
yeah, exactly. It's his mopping. That's what gets me, because people are like, he's mopping with guilt. He's got a guilty conscience, and that's why he keeps going in there to mop it up. Do you know what I mean? Would you be that keen if it wasn't you doing it in the first place?
I mean, that we are missing that. Obviously, there is one other option. It could be that they're both pretty bad at doing it.
Okay.
We could have a double. We could have a double trouble, so to speak. So I mean, I think that's possible too.
Very possible. Dorothy is saying that we need to see a man leave tonight, and that she wants either Giovanna or Jessica to win. But I think we do need to see a bloke leave. It's getting very, very male heavy in there.
Yeah, I think for the dynamic of the camp, it's quite important as well, because let's say Jess leaves tonight, I think that would only leave Giovanna in there, so it would be a bit strange. So I'm hoping that as happens sometimes, perhaps some of those people who've been voting for other females in the camp, perhaps they transfer their votes over to Jess and Giovanna, and then maybe, as we said, perhaps it will be AJ or Russell tonight.
Well, yeah, like I say, drinks are on me if Giovanna wins. When we're allowed to actually be in a pub with each other, as long as we're in a Scotch egg, it's fine. Yeah, but anyway, let's look at a preview for tonight's trial. It's going to be Giovanna and Vernon taking on this one. It's called Catastrophe.
The very best of luck you can go on the klaxon. Here we go.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, that is rank. You've probably worked that out, Vern. It's fish guts in there.
Oh, gosh, there's nothing better in the other one, Vernon.
That's
Good
it.
start.
Stay there.
Where am I going?
There, right where you are. Keep going. Give yourself a little bit of a jiggle. You're good.
There's
You're
one
good.
star. Get it in your bag.
Oh, sorry.
There's no bag, is there?
Right.
What?
There's no bag.
What do you mean there's no bag?
There's no stars. There's no bag. There's no bags in this truck.
No bag.
Right, so I know I'm sort of contractually obliged to say this as a Geordie, but I just love Ant and Dec. They make us laugh so much. Just the daft little banter between them. That's totally what makes this show for me.
Yeah, I mean, they've been brilliant again this series. I think they've been really funny. And yeah, in a trial like this, it's perfect. Their sort of commentary really, really helps, doesn't it? Yeah, I think this trial looks pretty difficult and pretty grim as well. I know a few people in the office that saw the preview earlier, and I didn't realise there were quite so many female Vernon fans. But there's a lot who are, worried about his welfare in this trial. I do think, though, it's going to play out quite well for Vernon. It looks like they're giving it a good go, and obviously he's going to get covered in I think it's offal, fish guts, and rotten fruit and veg by the time it's finished. So he's going to
be pleased that you'll be needing a shower afterwards, won't they?
Well, yeah, with any luck, some of them perhaps, we'll get the right sort of footage on there tonight. But yeah,
even a bit like Buddy the Elf, isn't he? Obviously in the shower. Yeah.
I mean, it's not a huge thing, and he's a very tall lad. But I think also for Vernon, he's not just got fans in our office. I think he has got a lot of supporters now. I think he's been quite positive in there, a supportive sort of shoulder to cry on, and he's doing a trial tonight where obviously it looks like he's doing quite well in there. So he maybe is the outside contender that could still get to the final at least. I think I think he's doing really well in there and hasn't really put a foot wrong.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's coming across really well. And it's funny with somebody like Vernon because he's been around for so long, so many years. Like I can remember watching him on T4 when I was a kid, really. Do you know what I mean? He's been around forever, but he's someone that you don't really know that much about. Do you know what I mean? This is the first time we've kind of seen him just for who he really is. And I think he has come off really genuine. Obviously, you know, he's said himself about he's made mistakes in the past, but they've put all that behind them. So, you know, maybe was this doing this show, part of it was to show people, you know, I'm a nice guy, don't judge us for the mistakes I've made.
Yeah, I think one word I'd say is maybe maturity. I think what's happened is we haven't really seen Vernon on TV a lot in the last 5 or 10 years. He has been doing sports broadcasting, but most of the general public haven't really seen him since the Family Fortune days, which are a few years ago now. And as the good point you made, you didn't see a great deal of his personality on there. So it's really been a chance for him to shine. And I think he's grown up a lot since a lot of us perhaps saw him on TV, you know, regularly. And so I think it's been a really good thing for him to do. And I think he's probably got lots of more fans, not just in our office.
Yeah, definitely. Although there is a lot. I won't name any names or embarrass anyone, but there's a certain someone on the team who messages me quite regularly to gush over Vernon. But yeah, it's getting very interesting. Obviously, the show comes to an end on Friday, and we'll have the very first king or queen of the castle, won't we? So it's going to be good. Lots to look forward to this week, and I'm quite sad it's coming to an end so soon. I feel like it's too quick.
Well, yes, but I think that's the good thing about I'm a Celebrity. What they try and do is every year you have this sort of 2-3 week burst, and it's not overkill like with maybe some of the other entertainment shows. And so every year people kind of look forward to it. I think they kind of see it as maybe the start of Christmas time as well. So I think keeping it to that sort of 2-3 week period is good, and it makes people always look forward to it the year after. So I think next year, if they go back to Australia as well, it feel fresh and different, and everyone will be looking forward to it again. It'll be back before you know it, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, the show is back at 9 o'clock tonight on ITV. So make sure you tune in to see what happens at the trial and to see who's going to be evicted. If you want to get all the I'm a Celeb news in your inbox every morning, you can sign up to our newsletter. And we'll be back here every day this week to just have a little natter. So come back. Thanks for now.